2013 has been quite the emotional roller coaster if you're one of the fans patiently awaiting a sequel to the 1992 cult classic Army of Darkness. Now, Sam Raimi, Rob Tapert, and Fede Alvarez have all made statements about the current status of the rumored sequel at different points throughout the year. Sometimes they made sense, sometimes not so much. But nobody in the Evil Dead crew has been able to confuse the media more than Bruce Campbell when it comes to Army of Darkness 2. So, to help me recap what's been said about the status of Army of Darkness 2, I decided to bring a very special guest on the PopFix for you guys. But since Bruce Campbell wasn't available, I got Evan Dixon from Bloody Disgusting and Ryan Turek of ShockTeardrop.com to help me with this special edition of the PopFix, a 2013 timeline of Army of Darkness 2 according to Bruce Campbell and friends. I know, we told you this is a timeline for this year, but the real story starts back in the fall of 2012. Isn't that right, Ryan?
That is absolutely correct, Aaron. That's when Sam Raimi told both ShockTeardrop.com and Bloody Disgusting that he was trying to crack a story for a script rooted in the horror genre. Although he didn't specifically say anything about Army of Darkness 2, it still managed to get fans wondering if that could possibly be the project that Raimi was talking about.
And fans had even more reason to get excited on March 1st of this year when Disney UK tweeted the following quote from Sam Raimi. "I would love to make Evil Dead 4. My brother and I plan to work on the script this summer." So Ryan, can you explain to any genre neophytes out there what the significance is of Raimi saying that he wanted to work on Evil Dead 4?
Oh, that's a big thing. I mean, obviously we've been waiting many years for that to happen, since 1993. I know I've been waiting, so anything to get Raimi back in the saddle to direct Evil Dead 4, hey, I'm all for it. Just days after that tweet, Sam Raimi's producing partner Rob Tapert cleared things up with us, saying that Raimi's aforementioned script would be for a direct sequel to Army of Darkness, saying, and I quote, "That would be Army of Darkness 2, and everybody calls it Evil Dead 4, but Army of Darkness wasn't called Evil Dead anywhere except by the fans."
Okay, so what happened next?
A few weeks later at WonderCon's Evil Dead panel, director Fede Alvarez took to the stage with Bruce Campbell and the cast members of the Evil Dead remake and said his plans for the franchise included working on a sequel, while Sam Raimi moved forward with Army of Darkness 2, and that both worlds would come together in a final 7th film. Bruce seemed to be on the same page, saying, and I quote, "I think 7 is a nice number."
It sure is, Ryan. Isn't it? 7. So now that we've had our update from Shock, let's hear from Bloody Disgusting. So Evan, what's up next in this confusing timeline of Army of Darkness 2?
Well, everyone still seemed to be on the same page at the AGO Awards in September. Spoke to Fede there, and he said that Sam Raimi was writing Army of Darkness 2 with his brother. And the big news for that, out of that for me, was that you know, they were not going ahead right away with a sequel to the Evil Dead remake that Fede, you know, had out in March. That was originally announced at South by Southwest as like something they were doing, and Fede told me that, you know, they're putting that on hold for a little bit, and the active, you know, thing is Army of Darkness 2, and that's what they want to do. And we're going to assume that Bruce Campbell knew this as well. So
wait, how do you know that he knew that?
Well, Bruce was standing like right next to Fede when I spoke to him about this. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, on October 18th, comicbook.com reported that Bruce made some very public announcements about Army of Darkness 2 in front of a crowd of people at Wizard World Nashville Comic Con. Have you been to this one before?
No,
okay.
not that one.
Neither have I. But
if they find me out, I'll go.
We'll cover it. Yeah. He said, "All right, sir, the answer is yes," in response to a fan who asked, "Are you going to make a sequel to Army of Darkness?" The story got enough heat on the World Wide Web that even I picked it up and covered it on Clever Movies. So I don't know about you, Evan, but at this point, it sounds like Bruce was confirming that this movie was happening, but what was your take on the matter?
Yeah, it seemed like a confirmation to me. You know, I mean, he did leave himself some wiggle room to backpedal, but yeah, I mean, it seemed like he was confirming it and was sort of unaware of the cavalcade of follow-up questions that would be coming his way.
Just a few days later, things started to get real weird. On October 24th, Bruce Campbell said he was joking when he confirmed the movie at Wizard World during an interview with the Seattle radio station 95.7. Now, why in the world would he do this? It's confusing. But I first heard about this from you on Bloody Disgusting, so I would love to know where you found these radio clips and what did you think about them at the time?
Well, a reader sent it in to me. There were 2 of them. There were 2 interview clips, and one of them he kind of confirmed it, and one of them he kind of denied it. But you know, he said basically it's not real. which is sort of, you know, Hollywood speak for maybe not having a shoot date or, you know, like not be ready to go, but it's definitely something they're working on. I mean, he even told one of these radio DJs that, you know, Sam's writing the script and that it feels more real to him now than it ever has before. So I think it's the kind of thing that they're working on making it. It's obviously, you know, not financed yet, but it seems to be an active priority for everyone. So.
Interesting. So,
and I think he's just tired of answering questions about it. I think that's what he's doing.
But he also loves talking about it, right? So we find out Bruce Campbell was joking about Army of Darkness 2, and then just 2 days later from Fede, he responds to a fan's question about whether or not he'd be directing Army of Darkness 2, and he tweeted, "Sam Raimi will," and this is October 26th. So at this point, I'm kind of confused. I have no idea what's going on anymore, so I went straight to the source for answers. I interviewed Bruce Campbell at Stan Lee's Kamikaze this November, and when I asked him about Army of Darkness 2, not only did he say it wasn't happening, but he also blamed the internet for making people think that it was. Check it out.
Let me dispel that right now. It's all internet BS. There's no reality whatsoever. These random comments slip out of either my mouth or Sam Raimi's mouth. Next thing you know, we're making a sequel. So unless you have it's like announced from like Renaissance Pictures, it's not real. Or unless you have a start date or a release date. And we do appreciate people's enthusiasm for another Army of Darkness, but they should just wait until it's real. And I feel bad for people because the internet is so prey to misinformation. It's unbelievable how much misinformation there is. So I just encourage everybody, get the real information, not just if you heard something.
So not confirmed by Bruce Campbell.
Way not confirmed.
And with that, you, my friends, are officially up to date with the 2013 timeline of Army of Darkness 2 rumors. But before we wrap up this special edition of the Pop Fix, I gotta know what my guests have to say on the matter. So Ryan, any final thoughts here?
It's all exhausting. This has all been an exhausting journey for us fans, and I hope 2014 brings us some truth, some honesty, an actual sequel. I think that honestly, you know, I think that this is something that they are going to work on, and they are working on it. But I think that they also have a little bit of fun pulling our leg, especially the press. When we get up there, we're just as tired about asking about Evil Dead as Bruce is answering that question. So I think at some point he's just like, you know what, this is going to be the show where I actually dish some truth, or this is going to be the show where I actually play around, you know? So I think that there is a lot of truth in it. I just think that they're just as tired of, you know, talking about it as we are.
Well, I too hope that one day we will finally see the light. But what do you think, Evan? What's going on? Do you think we'll ever get this movie, or at least in the near future?
You know, it depends on budget, I think. I mean, the Army of Darkness was a huge movie, and is it going to be the kind of movie where people spend $200 million on it? No, but Hollywood increasingly doesn't know how to spend just 30, 40, 50, 60 million on something. So I think they have to ride it and see where they're at and take a look at the marketplace. You know, I do think that they are riding it, and I think they want to make it. We'll see if it happens.
I think one of the interesting things is the fact that it needs to find a home. Universal, I don't think, owns that property anymore, because for a little while, Army of Darkness was set up at Universal, and it handled like the DVD and the Blu-ray and all that stuff. And then Anchor Bay got those rights back, so that's why we got all those re-releases. So I think that the rights are up in the air. So it's a contingent on where it's going to, you know, find a home, who's going to put the money into it, you know, stuff like that.
It's a big movie. I mean, I would assume if it's the sequel to Army of Darkness, it's going to be a big movie.
But are they going to go off from the U.S. cut or the Japanese cut? Which ending are they going to use?
They're not going to use the Japanese cut, I don't think.
No, they can't.
Hopefully.
Well, let's throw it out to you guys in the audience. What say you, my savvy viewers? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts on this convoluted timeline. And thanks for tuning into the Pop Fix. A big thank you to my guests, Ryan Turek and Evan Dixon. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us on.
And until next time, what's your fix?